Look at this. Somebody come look at this. Look at this. Somebody come and look at this. Look at this.
The Vigor sideline for the last 3 years. It's second down and 14 for Vigor. Wing T to the far side left. Here's a fade pass to the near sideline, looking for his receiver. Incomplete, as the receiver on the play was looking one way. Clyde Medise, and the pass went the other way. He never really had a chance for that one, as Jarvis Sanders now 30 out of 65. Let's check the defense for Blount. The linebackers replacing Adrian Williams, who will miss this game. He's suspended. Leonis Williams, one of their starting running backs, takes over the linebacker. Leonis Williams, Antoine Lott, Sion Morris, Antoine Jackson. The defensive backs, Quentin Williams, Antoine Hill, Eric Johnson. We told you the line. Wilson, McNeil, Sloan, and Campbell. 3rd and 14 for Vigor. Single setback. Back to pass. Sanders over the middle, fires. Incomplete, right through the arms of Larry Howell. His cousin, Patrick Howell, once played for Vigor and also played some Major League Baseball with the New York Mets. 4th down, Vigor forced to punt. That means Leotis Walker will come in and punt. Either he or Sanders. Let's see, it will be Walker, who averages 30 yards a kick. And Blount will send back. Very dangerous tandem. Antoine Hill. Here is the punt. High and short, very high, a skyscraper, allowed to bounce at the 40 out of bounds, somewhere inside the 38-yard line. And the high-powered Blount offense, which, by the way, a lot of people have been wondering whether they're really going to break through, and they're still averaging 28 points a game. But the thing about Blount this year, they're using the run more to set up the pass, whereas in years gone by, they set up the pass they use the pass to set up the run. But this year, they're telling me in this game, coaches are saying, look out, they're going to spread it out wide open. And they start out in the shotgun, 3 wide outs near side, 1 to the far side. Tyvone Green starts at quarterback, takes, throws, almost intercepted. And had that pass been intercepted, it could have been 6 for Vigor, as Darius Blackman, 6'2" senior, got a fingertip on it.
Boy, Blackman was right there for the play, reading the eyes of quarterback Tyvone Green all the way, trying to get it outside to his stellar receiver, DeAndre Green. But boy, what a fine play by Blackman. Almost had the pick.
2nd and 10 at their own 39. Green takes the snap. Going to throw over the middle. Incomplete. Double team was the wide receiver. Flags all over the plate. They were looking for DeAndre Green. He was double teamed. Mike, I'll tell you this. The assistant coach, Carl Poe, former pro wide receiver, offensive coordinator, penalty against Vigor. He told me before the game, he said, Lee, look out for some surprises on offense. He said, whatever you do, don't put your head down. He said, you will miss something. Do not put your head down. He said, we're coming out. We're not going to take much time. We're going to run up there.
It'll be automatic first.
That was the referee, Van Court. I told you that we'll be hearing from him a lot. George Van Court, ball being walked off. That offensive line for Blount has one big change. Darius James replacing Jamel Matthews at center. Ball now at the Vigor 46. Blount on the attack. Green at quarterback. His running back, Leonis Williams. They have 2 wideouts each side of the field. 4 wideouts. This was Blount last year under Ben Harris. Another flag. Oh my goodness, we're getting a lot of flags early. This will be about our 4th penalty already.
Well, we had one on the kickoff. Vigor on their first offensive play from scrimmage, a pass interference call, and now this looks like a delay of game. We're making an offsides call that will go against the Blount Leopards.
4 penalties in 60, or actually 59 seconds. That could set an all-time record if this continues. And again, 2 wideouts to the left, 2 to the right. And on 1st and 15 from his own 49. They load up the shotgun. Tyvone Green takes a step, drops back to the 40-yard line, throws over the middle. Caught, 40, 35, to the 30, and finally dragged down after the 1st down. And a big run it is. DeAndre Green showing his stuff. That is catch number 41 this year. And the Blount Leopards, they said they were going to look for Green. They go right to Green. That went from Green to Green.
A pickup of 20 yards on the play as well, Lee, as Tyvone gets it to DeAndre, and boy, it took it 3 different Vigor Wolves to get a handle on the big Green and bring him down.
From the 29 of the Vigor 29. Again, they load up the shotgun. Tybone Green looks left, throws left. Oh, it's incomplete. He was trying to hit Kennard Pugh Williams, and Williams could not hang on to the pass that time. The Vigor defense, the backs, and boy, are they going to be tested. Troyan Stabler was a sprint champ, 5'10 senior. Dominic McDaniel, newcomer to the lineup. Stevie Holmes is in there. Linebackers, Darius Blackman, Dontavius Holder, Andre Merriweather, a veteran from last year, as is LeVar Bell. Second down, 10 from the Vigor 29. Here's the snap. Green drops back in the pocket with time. Flushed out of the pocket, throws, and he threw it away out of bounds. It'll be third down and 10. The defensive line, they put pressure on that time. Terry Smith, 6'1 junior with 13 sacks. Maurice Rogers and Kennard Gordon the tackles. Juwan Adams, 6'3 senior, the other end.
That time, Maurice Rogers, the Vigor Wolf, who had his hands around the feet of Tyven Green, trying to trip him up, made him get rid of it early, and it goes incomplete.
Third and 10 from the Vigor 29. Ball between the hash marks. 3 wideouts left, 1 to the right. Tyven Green, in his junior season, has not had much action prior to this year. He's in the pocket. He'll run 30. Flag down. 25, 24, 23-yard line. They'll pick up 6, pending the flag, which is the 5th already.
And it comes from the center of the field, which indicates holding, and that is the indication of our referee tonight.
Tyven Green has pulled them out of the fire a few times this year. You saw it against BC Rain like we saw it against LaFleur with a last-second pass.
We have a hole. White, loss of 10 from point of foul. Replay down.
Thank you very much, George. Third down and long now. Green has been like their relief pitcher off the bench. A couple of games, lost point. BC Rain has come off the bench to spell Mario Jackson and bring him back. Third down and long. They got to get to the 19. They're at the Vigor 43. Green drops back. Has time. Throws right sideline. Nobody there. The closest player there was Troyan Stabler, who wears a Vigor uniform. And Vigor is held, and Blount may punt.
And boy, did Tyven Green take a big hit from Vigor Wolf. Brett Wilson rushing the defensive line spot. Really got to Tyven Green and hit him once he let go of the ball. Tyven will have some bumps and bruises come Saturday morning.
DeAndre Green, normally the punter, highly sought after wide receiver, considered the best wideout in the state of Alabama. Initially verbally committed to Auburn, but has since reneged or said that wasn't totally accurate, so I think he's anybody's left-footed kicker. Punts it downfield at the 10 to the 5, and they're going to keep it in. They did not let it get into the end zone, and Blount, specialty team, with a marvelous job of pinning Vigor at the 1-yard line. Green with the punt, hit at the 10, and his players got down there and kept it from going into the end zone. They got it at the 1-yard line.
Well, this Blount defense is formidable enough. You don't want to try to have to attack them from the shadow of your own goalpost, but that's the task now that the Vigor Wolves have, as they are maybe at the half-yard line, Lee.
That is not a good situation to be in against the Blount defense. First down. Single setback and a double wing. And the quarterback will take it and run out to the 6 to the 7. Very smart call there. Jarvis Sanders not doing any ball handling, just following the left side of his line for a couple of yards. Bavarian Reese, or Dees, I should say, with 17 touchdowns this year. Archie Niles is blocking back. Ben Reese, a very fine tight end back from last year. Jarvis Sanders starting ahead of Jason Howard at quarterback. 2nd and 3. Flag down. Where have we seen that before?
Yeah, some movement this time on the Blount defensive line. Let's see if they were drawn off.
5:25 remaining. And what a break for Vigor. So suddenly in the shadow of their own end zone, that ball is now up to the 12-yard line after the 5-yard penalty against Blount.
Should give Vigor their first down of the night.
First down 10 for the green and silver. The wideout is Larry Howell to the near side. Wingback formation with Cedric Smith lining up on the left side. Like I said, the adrenaline is running high. The neighborhood rivalry. These two teams are already ranked. They're just playing for bragging rights. Back to pass. Sanders fades one near side. Can Medice get it? Howe? Great catch. Larry Howe. What a catch at the 32-yard line with Antoine Hill in his face, and he made the grab. First down.
And it's the second time tonight that Jarvis has tried to find his teammate Larry Howell. That time, the fade pattern just in the right spot. Howell able to beat his defender, turn around, and make the play for the ball.
Clyde Medice. Split to the right. Back two wideouts to the right now. One, Cedric Smith lines up on the left. That was a great catch over the shoulder. Handoff. Dees. Cut back left. Oh, he is dumped at the line of scrimmage. What a hit in there. Redarian Dees running for the first time tonight. Eric Johnson with a great hit from Blount. No gain. It'll be second down. And Dees averages almost 7 yards a carry, but not that time.
Antoine Blount up there as well to help put a hat on the ball carrier. Right, Darian Dees looked like he had a big hole and some running room to the left side, but it closed up quickly.
Odd second down and 10. Into the lineup, Gabriel Crum. He's the wideout. Well, they're going to get a penalty on this one. I could see that. They had two backs in motion. And a big gainer. The flags all over. There are 3 flags on this play. And first of all, the play had no chance anyway because they had two backs in motion. They continued with it. You can pick your choice of which penalty. I know there was one in the backfield. There may have been one upfield.
Well, refs confer and try to decide which one they'll like to call this one.
Game getting off to a penalty-filled first few minutes. Holding against Vigor. They were illegal procedure against Vigor. So any gain they made certainly nullified. In fact, they had no chance because they got up to such a bad start with the two backs.
We have illegal motion. It's green. That penalty is accepted. We have a holding against the green. That's declined. Play it second down.
They declined the holding because of the big gain. They take the 5-yard penalty, push him back. Second down, 15. Rolling to the right, quarterback Sanders. Spun around, down he goes, no gain. Actually may have lost a yard. Antoine Hill was right in there on the play.
And boy, what a great job he did to slide in from his linebacker slot, find Jarvis Sanders, and make a nice open field tackle.
It'll be 3rd and 15 from the Vigor 27-yard line. Clyde Medice runs the play in from the Vigor sideline. Eddie's and Dede Thompson. Thompson, long-time coach as is East for Vigor. Thompson, the offensive coordinator. Eddie's works with the backs. 3rd and 15. Play action. Back to pass. Sanders throws. Man open. Incomplete. Beating the defense downfield that time, but unable to come up with that pass with Cedric Smith laying back in center field for Vigor, but unable to intercept.
That was Eric Johnson, the safety, back deeply, and you're right, he did not pick it off, but maybe he got just enough in the way of the intended receiver to maybe disrupt him, and boy, had a little better chance to pick it off than what it looked like up here.
There's the punt by Walker, high and short, hits at the 40 and takes a blunt bounce back to the 45, reverse spin that time, and a short punt will give Blount possession at the Vigor. Or I should say at their own 46. That ball hit at the 40 and then took reverse bounce up to the 46-yard line, cost them 6 yards. Blount 1st and 10 after the Vigor punt. Ivan Green, the quarterback, loads up the shotgun. He sends his triplets to the left. One out, wide out, split to the right. Flood the secondary. This was the Blount attack of a year ago. They haven't run the football yet. Pitch in the backfield. Taken by Higginbottom, 45, 50, 45, and dragged down by the jersey. That was Kennard Pugh Williams, I should say. Kennard Pugh Williams dragged down, first down for Blount after the gain of about 13 yards.
Well, just get it in Kennard Pugh Williams' hands and let him do the rest. He's got some great moves, and that just a quick little flanker screen as Tyven Green got it out to Williams and let him do his job.
2 wideouts left, 2 to the right. Green at quarterback. Willis Williams in the backfield. Green will run straight ahead 40, 35, 30, first down. And finally Deck at the 27-yard line. That's what Blount did so well last year. They spread the field and then run up the middle like that. They had not been doing that. At least I haven't seen them do that until tonight. There may have been a fumble on the play. I'm not sure. Blount has recovered. There was a fumble, and Blount recovered the football. 1st and 10 for the Leopards.
Lee, I'm with you. I've seen Blount on numerous occasions this year, but they have yet to really run this wide open an offense all year long.
They are opening up the Leopard attack. You might remember it from last year. This is pretty much the way they played. Bernard Pugh Williams comes to the near side. The only running back, Jonas Williams, standing back there with Green, the quarterback. On 1st and 10, Green back to pass. Plenty of time. Throws over the middle. Intercepted by Stabler. 20, 30. Look at him go. He's a speedster. Midfield, he's gone. Stabler is gone. 20, 10, touchdown. Are there any flags? None. Vigor leading. That had to be, what, about an 87, 90-yard return?
I would say 85, Lee. It was down around the 15-yard line when he came up with it. As Timon Green trying to get it to one of his wideouts and just flat overthrew him. And boy, we got ourselves a exciting ball game. No surprise.
He is a sprint champ. If you had any doubts, you just saw why. Torian Stabler, his 2nd interception of the year, none bigger. Bart Hughes will try the PAT. He just took off like Kid Lightning down the far sideline. Nobody. And, you know, Blount's a pretty fast team. They're quick. They couldn't touch him. From, I should say, Medice will hold. The kick is up by Hughes. It is good. 6:05 to go. First quarter to score. Vigor 7, Blount nothing. Game brought to you in part by South Coast Bank, by Dairy Fresh, the best in the land, by Hills Children's Shoes, and also by Johnston's Campus Supply. And the Vigor crowd with plenty to cheer about now as Torian Stabler has given the Wolves the early lead.
And Torian Stabler, you mentioned him, a track champion, was talking with Mike Herndon, prep sports writer for the Mobile Register, earlier tonight up in the press box, and he told me, watch this kid, number 9 for Vigor. He is something else, and we were expecting him maybe to go up against Errol Hickenbottom of Blount tonight, another track star for Blount High School, but instead he's really been trying to work on DeAndre Green, and it makes sense. You put your best defensive back against Blount's best receiver, and boy, did Torian Stabler come up with a big play there, picking off Timon Green. 85-yard interception return for our first points of the night.
Cletus Walker kicks off. Crowd buzzing after the defensive play by Vigor. Vigor having problems getting players on the field now. See if they have too many. They just added another player. There's a flag. Saw this one coming. One thing, Mike, when you get a chance to cover Vigor Blount, when you get to the field, I mean, you're walking among legends. I had never met 00 Kenny Burrows. He is now coaching at Vigor, working with the wide receivers. One of Kenny Stabler's favorite targets with Bum Phillips and the Houston O's. Had a chance to meet with him. Of course, Robert Brazil, the famous Dr. Doom. Great middle linebacker, both Brazil and Burrows coaching with Vigor. Carl Poe, wideout Alabama State, played with the Dallas Cowboys on the Blount side. Cleon Jones, by the way, a former Vigor running back, is on Cornelius Brown's staff. Ball back in the 35, kicked by Walker to the 13-yard line. Antoine Hill running laterally, spun around, down he goes, and a nice tackle by Jason Wright. He just took him by the shoe stops and just whirled him around. Blount's ball. That time Hill running laterally instead of north and south. He went east and west.
Well, how important here for the Blount Leopards to come back out with their wide open offensive attack and try to move the ball well. They did so in their first offensive possession. We're moving again before the interception return for a touchdown.
Some of the Blount coaches told me that Green had not thrown an interception. That would have been his first setup screen to the right. taken by Leonis Williams at the 18-yard line. He is wrestled down. Great defensive play by Vigor. They were all over the play that time.
Yeah,
that was LeVar Bell, the linebacker.
It was LeVar Bell getting some help as well from a couple of teammates. But boy, right there on top of it to sniff out the screen, and a loss of a couple of yards back inside the 20.
James Pirine and his staff working hard, working the sidelines with the lead. Second down, 12, loss of 2. Blount loads up the shotgun. 2 running backs surrounding the quarterback. High snap over the head of Green. He goes back, but it's taken by Kennard Pugh. He's at the 5, tripped up at the 6, another flag. I think there's a flag on the play.
Yeah, looks like it came out late. Kennard Pugh Williams may be the victim of a face mask, and that could be a big, big break for the Blount Leopards here.
Bad snap, ball back to the 5. Kennard Pugh Williams took it on the bounce, tried to run to his right, and then went down at the 6-yard line. Then the flag went down, and
Green.
It was a face mask. That's why Williams went down. Penalty against Vigor.
Face mask, Green. Still going to be second down.
And the ball comes up to the 22-yard line. 2nd and 10. This is where the original line of scrimmage after the kickoff. And a timeout. 5:08 to go, first quarter. 7-0 Vigor. We'll return to WNTM 710 AM and Sports City 6 right after this.
Would you like to find out more about athletes in your community? Metro Super Prep magazine is the magazine for you. Metro Super Prep showcases top teams in Mobile and Baldwin counties. We'll tell you who is doing well on and off the field by interviewing top academic athletes. You can also find out what colleges are looking into your favorite player. Pick up your copy of Metro Super Prep at Barnes & Noble's bookstores, Books A Million, and Campbell's Music Box for only $2.99.
Kennard Pugh Williams turns the corner, heading for pay dirt. 20, 10, 5, touchdown, but flags on the play. Kennard Pugh Williams took it 78 yards around the left side and may have to come back. This game has had nothing but penalties in it. Flag after flag after flag. And the officials informing Blount, Ivan Green, and the rest of his teammates that are back upfield.
Well, we watched Kennard Pugh Williams literally dismantle a pretty good Daphne Trojan defense back in the mid part of the season with his speed. And here it comes through. He gets to the outside, takes it the distance. But what I like most of all, once he got into the end zone, he kind of looked back. He saw the flags, and he fell back on his back lead. But then comes teammate DeAndre Green, picks him up, pats him on the back.
6 men on the line. 5-yard penalty. Replay the down.
Green pumps him up and says, "That's all right, Kennard. Do it again, babe."
And he probably could. Boy, I tell you, you're looking at some pretty swift players out there. Torian Stabler, Kennard Pugh Williams. He's also a track star, if you didn't know. Back to the 17. 2nd down and 15 for Blount. The touchdown run of 78 yards nullified. 4:51 to go. First quarter, 7-0 Vigor. Green loads up the shotgun. 2 wide outs to the left. 2 running backs in there. There's a handoff. We're going to go this time to another back, hit at the 17-yard line, so he will not get more than a yard or 2 as they tried to go around the left side that time, and unable to do so for Blount is Anthony Anderson, who's listed as a wide receiver. Anderson in the backfield that time. Little, if no gain. So it's 3rd and long. 3rd and 14 for the Blount Leopards. Blount coached by Cornelius Brown. Vigor by James Pirine. They have gone shotgun the entire way. Green at quarterback on 3rd down. Instead, it's Green that takes it, slips, falls, throws, caught, and down immediately at the 19 after about, no, the pass is incomplete. It is waved off as Leonis Williams on the right flat, unable to come up with that pass as Green was slipping as he threw it. So far, Mike, the Vigor defense has played well.
Well, they have, and Tyven's been hampered by that high snap from the shotgun formation. It's caused a couple of problems here in the early going. We'll watch and see if Cornelius Brown maybe pulls him back up under center, or if they can get that problem worked out.
Yandre Green to kick, Troy and Stabler to receive. And I know Blount would not like to see him get his hands on it. Low snap, picked off the ground. Here's the kick. And it's deep. And it's sending Stabler back. Did he touch it? I don't know. It's back to the 30, to the 25. At the 25, it's picked up by Blount and run down to the 8-yard line. There was a little concern as to whether Stabler actually touched it or not. Stabler says no. The official says yes. Stabler said he didn't touch it. Stabler said he didn't touch it. We'll watch our replay, try to determine. I don't know. It's that close. I can't tell. I'm watching a replay of it. I can't tell if he got his hands away or not. But they're waving the Blount offense back onto the field. What a break for Blount. Stabler then let it go, figuring he didn't touch it, or so he said. But this one will go against Vigor. Getting to see it again. Stabler backpedals and looks for that punt. Well, it looks like on another replay that he did touch it, and the official right there to make the call. But Stabler never went after the ball again. It was kind of like that Chuck Knobloch play in the World Series. It's at the Vigor. 21. Green, delay, run. Williams cracks it down inside the 20 to about the 18-yard line. He'll pick up about 3 yards. It'll be 2nd and 7 for the Leopards, given a great opportunity on what you would call a muff punt. Although Stabler didn't think so, and he didn't go back and retrieve it, the Blount players did not react, and Vigor picked it up. Or I should say Blount picked it up and was trying to go in for a touchdown, but the official said it was down at the 22. Out of the shotgun on 2nd down and 7. Back to passes. Green looking left. Starts to run right. 20, 15. Open area to the right. Tripped up at the 11-yard line. Looks like he's got the first.
Looks like he's close to it. Pays the price again as linebacker LeVar Bell comes in to pop Tyven Green, and he is down, Lee.
He's up now.
Slowly, but he has popped up now. We'll come back, and he's taken some tough licks in the early part of this ball game. The Vigor Wolves really teeing off on him.
That first down call really pumped them up. 2:47 to go in a penalty-filled first quarter. Blount Leopards trailing but driving thanks to an apparent muff on a punt by Torian Stabler, who had been the hero just a few minutes ago with an 85-yard interception run back. 1st and 10 from the 11. Green takes the snap, a high snap, dropping back, rushes on, starts to run right, throws, and it is going to be incomplete. What a rush that time by LeVar Bell. He almost ran him into the stands.
Boy, Bell was all over Tyven Green again, Lee, and boy, the young quarterback really with a bit of an ill-advised pass, trying to force one down in the end zone. He's really lucky that one wasn't picked off.
Looks to Carl Poe, his offensive coordinator, as Bell put the pressure. Mike, you can prepare detail by detail, but once you get into a game with emotions running as high as this, sometimes you just have to let your ability take over. 2nd and 10 from the 11. And sometimes the way you do it is not the way it was planned. 2 wide outs right, 1 to the left. Back to pass. Green after the high snap over the middle. Incomplete. Had his man off the fingertips that time of Higginbottom. At the goal line, Higginbottom reaching high on a high pass, almost intercepted.
Boy, Tyven would really like to have that one out. Threw it a little bit high and a little bit behind Higginbottom, and he stretched out, tried to come up with it. I don't know, replay, Lee, he should have had that ball.
Almost intercepted by Steve Holmes. Holmes' dad, by the way, was longtime coach of the Mobile General semi-pro football team. 3rd down, 10. Timeout Vigor, 2:04 to go first quarter, 7-0 Vigor leading. You're listening to high school football on WNTM in Sports City 6.
Who is Eddie's?
I bought jewelry from it.
3rd and 10 for Blount at the Vigor 11. Out of the shotgun, Green takes the snap, looks over the middle, looks to the right, throws to the right, almost intercepted, and that was Stabler who had it, and it bounced off his chest. He stepped in front of Kennard Pugh Williams. And let me tell you something, had he come up with it, we possibly could have seen Stabler running down the sidelines again.
Oh, baby, it was going to be a replay all the way. Torian Stabler saw that one. That's probably why he dropped it. He was seeing 6 points again and just kind of got ahead of himself, was running before he caught it.
4th down, 10. Normally, you don't see Blount or Vigor kick field goals. That is not in their repertoire. Very rarely, although a few years ago, Blount won a game over Vigor on a field goal. The first of Antoine Hill's career, but he's not the kicker anymore. 4th and 10. From the Vigor 11, they'll go for it. Here's the snap. Handoff, double handoff, reverse to the 10. And he's not going much further, and there's a flag down Higginbottom on the double reverse, but a flag on the play after Vigor stopped him at the 7-yard line.
Nice open field tackle by linebacker Darius Blackmanley, who comes up to make the stop. We get a flag.
Blount.
Yep, going to be that clipping call against Blount. And so much for the fine effort by the Leopards.
White, penalties decline. First down, Green.
Thank you, George Van Court. Getting a lot of airtime with all the flags tonight. 1:52 remaining, first quarter. You're tuned to WNTM Mobile. Robert Gardner, engineer producer. First down, 10 at the 7. Vigor at its own 7. Sanders a quarterback. Split backfield. Dees runs left. And down he goes after no gain. Redarian Dees tried the left. There's another flag. May have been a fumble on the play also. And Marco McNeil standing right there by the tackle. Holding call against Vigor. Have we gone 2 plays without a flag in this game?
I tell you what, we have gone a handful of plays, but we have had our share of them already.
Marco McNeil. What an athlete. But even more importantly, a very fine student.
He'll tell you. We have a hole. Green, going to be half the distance. Replay, first down.
McNeil, a 3.3 and over. Student body president. Very active in the school. Pretty good baseball player, as well as an outstanding defensive lineman. Now it's first and about 13 after the penalty, half the distance, the holding penalty. Single setback for Jarvis Sanders and company. Quarterback will run left, find a hole for about 2 yards, sneaks his way up to the 6-yard line. Going to be second down and approximately 11 yards to go.
9 penalties so far here in the early going league.
That's all.
Surprisingly, but only nine accepted penalties. We've seen a lot more yellow hankies than that, but 9 accepted penalties.
Because we had 4 in the first 59 seconds. Penalty nullified, a Blount touchdown of 78 yards by Williams. Second down and 6. Handoff. Dees tries the left side. He's not going anywhere. Blount in the backfield quickly. And DeMarco McNeil pounding on Redarian Dees for a loss on the play.
And that's quite a contrast. Redarian Dees, not very big, and DeMarco McNeil, very, very big.
One coaching staff. Wayne Merritt's defensive coordinator, Carl Poe offensive coordinator, Derek McCall, Cleon Jones, a former Vigor running back, Tony Hairston, a very fine lineman for Blount in the 90s. Handoff, Niles spun around. He's going down at the 2-yard line. Archie Niles was a pinball on that play. He bounced off a number of Blount tacklers, had nowhere to go. Vigor forced to punt from its own end zone.
Great job by the Blount defense keeping the Leopards in the ball game. This Blount offense has had their moments. They've been able to move the ball, but have not been able to dent the end zone, and hurt by the big penalty that nullified the 78-yard touchdown run by Kennard Pugh Williams. And of course the interception return is Tyven Green threw it in the hands of Torian Stabler, and he took it the distance.
That's the end of the first quarter with the score. Vigor 7, Blount nothing. This is high school football on WNTM 710 AM and Sports City 6. Walker's kick fielded by Antoine Hill down the far sideline inside the 20. He fielded it at about the 30 and was run out of bounds somewhere inside the 20-yard line at about the 18.
Heads-up play by Antoine Hill just to field that one, keep it from getting the roll. It was a relatively short kick, and he was able to pick up maybe 10, 15 yards of field position for the Leopards just by scooping that one up and scurrying down the sidelines.
Well, actually, they'll place the ball at the 24-yard line, so apparently that's where he went out of bounds. Blount's ball, trailing 7-0 to start the second quarter. Now Green will take the snap from center. Higginbottom split to the right. Green to the left. They're going to run somewhat of an eye. They'll run the fullback, Leotis Williams, and he's not going anywhere. And there's a fumble on the play at the 24-yard line. Let's wait for the official. Blount has recovered. Blount recovers the fumble as the offensive lineman coming up with it. That was Jarius James, the center, who fell on it. And they actually gain a couple of yards to the 21-yard line. As Leotis Williams just fighting and fighting, and the ball poked away. And it scooted back, and James fell on it. Second down, 7 yards to go. This is the final day of the regular season. The playoffs begin next week. Both Blount and Vigor will host first-round games. And I've got some information on that. I'll tell you about in a minute. Higginbottom, split right. Green to the left. And we're going to get a timeout here with 10:57 remaining in the second quarter. 7-0 in favor of Vigor. This is WNTM and Sports City 6. On second down and 7, the quarterback for Blount is sacked on the play, and sacked and how, and a big loss on the play. As you watch, Darius Blackman has played an outstanding game, get in there and sack the quarterback all the way back to the 29-yard line. Third down and 15 for Blount at the Vigor 29. They load up the shotgun on 3rd and long. Dropping back, Green in the pocket. Throws near sideline, caught, and down to the 5. Touchdown, DeAndre Green. DeAndre Green with the catch. Of course, I look for flags, none on the play, and Blount's just an extra point away from tying it up. Well, 29-yard aerial.
When you're in trouble, find DeAndre Green, and Tyman Green did so, put one right between his numbers, and DeAndre did the rest, breaking a tackle about the 10-yard line and rumbling in for the touchdown.
Green to Green, and Vigor is seeing Green, and they're dressed in green. Coming in to try the point after. That could possibly tie this game up. There's the kick, and it's up, and it is good. And this game is tied up as the extra point. Well, I don't have a number on that extra point. You
I
see
do not,
that?
sir.
I mean, I do not have.
I'm looking
I'm
everywhere
guessing
I can.
I'm thinking it's Antoine Lott. I'm guessing it was Antoine Lott, but that's as far as I can get with that. But Antoine Lott normally kicks, look like a different number. We'll call it Antoine Lott and say the game is tied at 7 after the catch by DeAndre Green. Unofficially, I have him for 10 touchdowns this year. Last year, he had 19.
Well, Tyman Green's numbers are anything but spectacular. Struggled a little bit early. He's only 4 of 13 so far, but for 59 yards, the 1 interception, and the 1 touchdown now for the Blount quarterback.
How would you like to be the person carrying mail to Green's house?
Yeah. It's for Mr. Green.
Again, now the kickoff into the end zone. Means they'll start out at the 20-yard line. Lott's kick. All right, to the playoffs. Both Blount and Vigor. Blount has the advantage this year. They can play Friday night. Vigor can play Thursday night. However, my understanding is that Vigor will elect to move their game to Ladd Stadium Friday night and host either Baldwin County, who they beat last week, or Robertsdale, depending on how that matchup goes tonight. I believe Blount will host Wetumpka. Mike Herndon will come along at halftime and talk with Mike about some of the matchups that are widely speculated. So Vigor and Blount will play on the same night. Vigor at Ladd, Blount right here at Prichard. 1st and 10 from the 20. Vigor's ball. Back to pass Sanders. In trouble. Lost it. Loose ball. Picked up by Blount. DeMarco McNeil at the 10-yard line. Blunt's football.
McNeil's got it, Lee, but it was Edward Campbell, the junior defensive end, who came up on Jarvis Coleman, knocked the ball out of his hand, and picks it up. Jarvis Sanders, pardon me, in the pocket. Campbell knocks it away, and DeMarco McNeil there to pounce on it for the Blount Leopards.
Their last drive started at the 24 Vigor. Now they're at the Vigor 10. Boy, McNeil really got a break on that. It kind of bounced up. This is not fake grass, and it really bounced up in his arms. But Campbell's had an outstanding year. He really has. He's the unsung member of that the defensive line. He had to replace Robert Malone, and he's done more than that. First down at the 10. They cannot make a first down. Green under center, takes, handoff, up the middle, Williams to the 5, to the 4. Kennard Pugh Williams for 6 yards straight ahead. Following his blocking. It'll be second down and goal from inside the 5.
Now, Lee, I was going to comment as Vigor began their last drive. They got only 2 first downs in the first half. They both came on their second offensive possession. That's been a while ago. And the Blount offense has been on the field most of the time since then, meaning this Vigor Wolf defense has seen their time too.
Second down. And dumped in the backfield. Kennard Pugh Williams took the handoff from Tyven Green, and down he went. For actually no gain. Great defensive play.
Great job by a reserve linebacker, Dontavius Holder, who great penetration. He flew into the Blount backfield and was able to knock Kennard Pugh Williams off his feet.
Third down and goal from the 6. Blount, perfect record this year. Looking for their 8th win. You're allowed to play 10 regular season games, and Coach Brown told me he felt that Vigor had the advantage with the 2 extra games. Third and goal. Green out of the eye. Toss sweep. Williams running outside. Tripped up. Down he goes at the 7. Let's see if they try a field goal here and try to take the lead. Looks like they're sending in the specialty team. They normally do not try field goals at Blount or at Vigor. It's 4th and goal from the 7. Antoine Lott is the kicker, and he's on the field right now. For Blount, Maurice Chastain will hold at the 18. This will be a 28-yard effort for the lead. The ball is down, the kick is up, and it hits the upright and bounces away. No good. No good. Lott's attempted field goal hit the left upright and deflected away, and we're tied at 7.
Well, Lott got it up, had the distance, just boinked it off the crossbar, and it falls back.
Did what?
That was a boink.
That was a boink?
Oh, yeah, he boinked it right off the... If it was a Bugs Bunny cartoon, when it hit the crossbar, you would have heard.
Is that word in the dictionary?
Boink. Oh, I'm sure it is.
Okay. First down for Vigor, and they got a little breathing room with the 20 now. They've been back in their own territory. Handoff. Niles up the middle, crashes forward to the 25 to the 26 for 6 yards. Vigor running game has been held in check. Of course, they have not had good field position. That's one reason. Darian Dees is yet to spring forward. It'll be second down and 4. Good first down pickup against Blount's defense. Tied at 7. Blount had a chance to grab the lead, did not. Vigor's ball. Wing T to the left. Dees coming outside, cut back left to the 27 to the 28. Snowed under at the 28, a 2-yard pickup. Going to be third and about 2 yards to go. At the bottom of the pile for the Blount Leopards is Adrian Williams.
Good job, too, by Sion Morris, the linebacker, really the first guy to get his hands on Redarian Dees and just kind of trip him up.
Actually, that was Quentin Williams, I should say. That was Quentin Williams who made the tackle. He is the brother of Leonis Williams, the starting running back. He's also playing some linebacker. I see Adrian Williams out there. I was told he wasn't going to play tonight. Here's Sanders on the run. Third down pass caught. First down. And up to the 35-yard line. And a first down for Vigor on a short pass to the right sideline that time. As coming up with a catch is Craviel Crum. Crum with the catch. His third of the year. And Vigor moves the chains. They'll have it at the 34.
Good job, simple, quick out, Lee. And Jarvis Sanders, a nice job to put it right on his receiver's numbers.
First down 10. Wing T to the left. Up the middle they come with Archie Niles to the 40. Picks up about 5 yards. First down run. Niles averaging about 6 yards a carry. Had a touchdown against Baldwin County last week. He's a 5'10 junior. Second down 5 for the Vigor Wolves. Wide receivers, and they run the plays in. Clyde Mediz coming in. Huge crowd on hand tonight. Well, last year, the last couple of years, they've been saying in excess of 15,000. Second down. Walker in there. Walker runs right. Walker runs right into the Blount defense for no gain. The 3rd and 5. DeMarco McNeil was there. And also Quint Williams. Antoine Lott helped out on the tackle. 3rd and less than 5. Daniel Madison is the center. 5:20 remaining. Second quarter. Man in motion, Cedric Smith to the left. Back to pass, Sanders. Into the pocket, throws long, deep. Smith, and it's incomplete. Quint Williams was defending along with Eric Johnson. Cedric Smith, and a flag is thrown. He went up at about the 22-yard line. He was double teamed. Nicely done by Jarvis Sanders to get the football out there. Double team with Cedric Smith, and a flag on the play. They're going to call pass interference?
Don't know, Lee.
Yes, they are. They have hit Blount with pass interference, and that will keep the drive alive. Tied at 7. 5:05 to go, second quarter. Lee Cervini and Mike Grace for WNTM.
We have defensive pass interference, automatic first down.
And those listening can watch this game on Sports City 6 Saturday afternoon, right after the showing of the McGill-Satsuma game. This one comes up. Approximately 7:30, 8 o'clock. First down 10 from the 45. Handoff Niles. He goes nowhere. DeMarco McNeil right on top of him. Quick as a cat. McNeil. Don't forget to tune in, Pigskin Pete, to catch up to date on the high school scores on WNSP tonight, right after Mystics hockey. Pigskin Pete and his crew filling in on the scores, also some sports trivia, previewing college football. He'll be 2nd and 10. Boy, he's just something else. But you know what, Mike, he doesn't amaze me anymore. I mean, I'm so used to seeing him do this.
I know what you mean, Lee. I've seen him 3 or 4 times this year, and even his junior year last year. Just amazing the things he can do on the defensive line.
Here's a fade pass, incomplete at the 29-yard line. Stretching out, Clyde Mediz could not catch up to it. Sanders likes to throw that fade route, this time to the left sideline. It was incomplete. 3rd down and 10 at the Blount 46. This game is tied at 7. As the wide receivers huddled around Dede Thompson, the offensive coordinator, on the Vigor sideline, getting their instructions. Craviel Crum split to the left. 2 wide out. Cedric Smith. Ben Reese, the tight end, to the right. Single setback, 3rd and 10. Here's Sanders, takes the snap, drops back. He has time. He throws to the far sideline, incomplete, right in front of Cornelius Brown, the Blount coach. It was right there and actually picked up the football. It'll be 4th down. 4th and 10 for the Wolves. Cornelius Brown, his first year as a head coach. He's been at Blount as an assistant. He's been at Vigor. He has crossed paths, as they say. Community divided tonight. Walker to punt at his own 42. The rush is on. Not too much of a rush. Nice high punt. End over end. This will hit at the 15-yard line and down by Vigor right about the 16-yard line. Blount Leopards take over an offense at the 16, tied at 7 with 4:03 remaining in the second quarter in a game brought to you by the University of South Alabama, Spectronics Incorporated, McDonald's Muffler, South Trust Bank, and Pepsi.
Well, Lee, we've already seen this be a game of big plays. The big interception return by Torian Stabler. Nice touchdown pass, Tyven Green to DeAndre Green. You're just kind of waiting for the next big play. Could happen at any time.
How about the big play that was called back?
Yeah.
Kennard Pugh Williams, 78-yard run. Here's a pass. Great catch by, you guessed it, DeAndre Green at the 28-yard line. I tell you, that was an outstanding catch. He was going one way, reached back and grabbed it. Very tough play by DeAndre Green, a diving grab. His momentum going one way and still able to cut back. That's a first down at the 28-yard line. They gain 12. Tyven Green out of the shotgun. Back to pass. Steps up into the pocket. Runs to his right. He's at the 25. He stops. Spun around. And he's going down. Tackled hard on the play as the Vigor line got to him. That was Thomas Brown, a 6'3 sophomore, who finally put him down.
Yeah, poor Tyven just trying to escape from pressure. Kind of made a spin move. And when he did, Vigor's great big defensive lineman Thomas Brown there to greet him.
3:20 remaining. Second quarter. Loss on the play of 2 yards. Actually, it was a gain on the play of 2 yards. 2nd and 8. Actually gained a couple. Green checks his wideouts. 2 left, 2 to the right. Single setback. Shotgun. Green back. Looks left. Looks over the middle. Throws over the middle. Almost intercepted by Stabler. Cut in front of the intended receiver, Anthony Anderson. Torian Stabler almost came up with his second interception. He could have had 3 in this game.
I was going to say it could have been his 3rd interception. The first 2, well, the first one he did get and took back for a touchdown. The second one was the same type of play where he could have. That one a little bit more in traffic, but boy, he still could have had the pick hit him right in the hands.
2:56 remaining. Clock stopped. Second quarter. Green to pass. Tyven Green in the pocket. Flushed out. Rolls right. Throws on the run. Complete. Williams 35. Dives forward to about the 38-yard line. May have the first. Great job by Tyven Green to avoid the rush. And then, how about the alertness of Kennard Pugh Williams to come back and help his quarterback, coming back to grab that pass, cut up field, get away from one of the defenders, and finally dropped on the play by Tavius Holder. This is very, very close to a first down. It's at the 38-yard line. They say his knee touched. No indication yet, because we may see the chains come in. Let's see. Oh, they're going to signal first down. I believe he did.
Yeah, they're going to move those chains, Lee. Spot that ball and move them.
It is a first down. Tyven Green had been splitting time with Mario Jackson, the junior. Mario's big problem is height at 5'8". Tyven at 6'2". First down, 10, Blount at its own 38. 2:15 to go. Second quarter, tied at 7. Penalty filled first half. Here's the snap. Dropping back, Green looks to the right. Starts to scramble. He is sacked. Sacked back at the 33-yard line. He had time, but the pocket closed in. And coming in there for the Vigor Wolves, well, there were a couple of them to be sure. I've got...
how about Jericho Lindsey?
Well, I'm ready to mention Lindsey on the play.
Sean Jones was in there as well.
Second down, 15. Leonis Williams lines up alongside of Tyven Green, the quarterback. James, the center. He'll snap, 4-man front. Here they come on 2nd and long. He breaks out of the pocket to the 30. Gonna run, 35. Tiptoes out of bounds at about the 36-yard line. He'll gain a couple of yards. Stabler forced him out. It'll be 3rd down and 11 yards to go. Ball at the 37-yard line. Blount Leopards with possession, tied at 7. They lost this game to Vigor last year, 32-6. After then, the Ben Harris coach teams had won the previous 2 games. Prichard Municipal Stadium jam-packed, standing room only. 3rd and 11. Snap taken by Green. Back to pass in the pocket. Looks, going to be hit, but throws. Caught by Green. Cross pattern. 40, 35 down the sideline. He's gotten. Touchdown, Blount. Touchdown, Blount. No flags. Green to Green again, as DeAndre Green cutting across the field on a crossing pattern. And then, wait a minute, there is a flag at the 38.
Oh, no.
There is a flag at the 38.
And it's a clip against the Blount Leopards.
Second touchdown. I'll tell you, what a job by Tyven Green to get that away before DeJuan Adams got him good. He just hit him hard. DeAndre Green with a great cutback after the catch, cutting the field.
White will replay 3rd down.
Ball comes back to the Blount 49 after the apparent touchdown nullified. That is the second touchdown that Blount has had nullified by a penalty flag. It is a first down, though. Even with the catch and the penalty, enough for the first down. Ball is now at the call at the 48. 1:09 to go. Second quarter. Green takes the snap from center this time. 2 wideouts split to the left, 1 to the right. Green takes, dropping back. Sets up a screen to the left over the head of the intended receiver, Kennard Pugh Williams. And chasing that play was Terry Smith. 2 would-be touchdowns that Blount has had called back. The proverbial phrase, shooting yourself in the foot.
Boy, Tyven Green apparently has struggled at times, but his numbers somewhat deceiving. 7 out of 18, Lee. 91 yards, 1 interception, 1 touchdown. And, of course, what would have been his second to DeAndre Green called back.
All the offense in this game generated by Blount, but we're tied at 7. Second down from the 48, dropping back Tyven Green in the pocket, and he's going to be going down. He fumbled the ball. Loose ball recovered by Vigor. Falling on top of it, Maurice Rogers. And Vigor's defense has done it again.
Terry Smith made the hit, Lee, and got up behind Tyven Green. Surprised him. The ball comes loose, and teammate Jericho Lindsey there to pounce on it.
Field position has been a big problem for the Vigor offense. They finally have decent field position. Under a minute to play in the second quarter. Let's see if they go for it at the 43-yard line in Blount territory. Jarvis Sanders is the quarterback. Daniel Madison is the center. They flood the right side. They got 4 wideouts to the right, 1 to the left. Sanders takes, dropping back, and a throw to the left, incomplete. And is there a flag? Yes, I thought there would be. Larry Howell was held on the play. So another flag on Blount. They had 4 wideouts to the far side. Penalty against Blount. How many penalties do you have now? Or you run out of space?
Well, I'll have to count them up. I've run out of fingers and toes.
That is the big stat in the first half, unfortunately. 48 seconds to go. Well, they're waiting for the chain gang to move the sticks. They're a little slow. Ball at the Blount 30. Sanders. Ball dropping back. He may run. He's at the 31, and he goes down. He hesitated, and he who hesitates is lost. And DeMarco McNeil hit him from behind with Campbell. He had a chance to run for at least 5 to 10 yards. Timeout. Vigor will keep it right here with 36 seconds to play in the quarter.
You're right, Lee. He kind of stutter stepped, hesitated, and boy, when he did, that was all the time that the Blount defenders needed to close in on him.
There is a lot of coaching experience on that Vigor sideline. Ed East alongside of James Pirine. You also got to figure in D.D. Thompson, but Sanders had some open room there. Looked like he was going to race up the middle and then hesitated, and that gave DeMarco McNeil a chance to add to his tackle total. 2nd and 10. 36 seconds remaining. Second quarter, tied at 7. And with all the penalties in this game, it's been a long first half, but an enjoyable one. Vigor offense really has not gotten jump-started yet. an offense that averages twice as many yards on the ground than the run, and than the air, I should say. But the Blount defense has pretty well sacked their running attack. Niles has had a few yards. Redarian Dees has not gotten loose at all. On second down, Sanders back to pass. Sanders time to the end zone for Smith. Touchdown, Vigor. Touchdown, Vigor. With 28 seconds to go on a diving grab in the end zone. As that grab was made by Guilford Abrams. It was Guilford Abrams who made the catch. First time I've seen him in there. Diving grab just before he went over the end line. Guilford Abrams just able to catch it. Otherwise, he would have been over the back of the end zone. 13-7. Well, Mike, you were wondering when the next great play might come. We just saw it.
Boy, you sure did. And what a job by Guilford Abrams to just stretch out, full extension, able to get out there and haul in the nice pass from his quarterback, Jarvis Sanders, who threw the beautiful fade route.
30-yard touchdown pass. Sanders airing it out to the end zone, deep in the back of the end zone. Guilford Abrams with his second catch of the year and his first touchdown. And it puts Vigor in front, 13-7. Bart Hughes will try for point number 14. And Sanders with his 7th touchdown pass of the year. So we saw Vigor flood the secondary, and it worked. The Vigor crowd right below is buzzing about that catch by Guilford Abrams. Soccer-style kicker Bart Hughes. First year as the #1 kicker. Here's the snap. The ball is up, and it is no good. Wide. And Vigor, with a 13-7 lead, will be kicking off. This game brought to you in part by Eddie's Wholesale Jewelers, Providence Hospital, Faulkner State Community College, Quality Valve, Clean Color, and Design Center. Next week, Vigor and Blount apparently will both play on Friday night. The word is that Blount will play here, possibly against Wetumpka. Vigor has elected, instead of playing Thursday night, Mike, to go over to Lad People Stadium and play a representative from 6A Area 3, whoever the runner-up is, whether it's Baldwin County or Robertsdale. And then when Mike Herndon joins us during our halftime on WNTM, we'll maybe get a better idea of some of the other matchups, but they don't become official until tomorrow when all the coaches go to Montgomery.
We will have quite the choices for next week, and I only hope we have the same tough decisions in week 2 and week 3. I remember a Black Friday last year on the first weekend of high school football playoffs in the state when, man, I think we went into the weekend with 16 or 18 local teams and came out on Saturday morning with 3.
Here's the kick by Walker. Hits at the 20, and it's going out of bounds at the 15-yard line, so Blount will have it at the 35. And I'll tell you, when you have a weapon like DeAndre Green, there's no such thing as running out the clock.
Well, you're right about that. We've seen DeAndre make some last-second big plays, and this being a game of big plays, that's right, Lee. If you got a tick on the clock, hey, drop back and put one up. You never know.
First down, Blount at its own 35. Ivan Green will load up the shotgun. They flood the secondary. 2 wideouts to each side. Williams, the lone setback, along with Green in the shotgun. High snap, back to pass Green. Time to throw, lots of time. Throws, far sideline, caught out of bounds at the 45-yard line. That was Higginbottom. Nice throw by Ivan Green to the 45 and a first down. He not only stopped the clock with the out-of-bounds pass, but puts him at the Vigor 45. He threw it well.
Boy, really threw a rope out there, too, and Higginbottom got it, got his foot in bounds, and stepped out to stop the clock.
First and 10. Out of the shotgun is Green. Again, they flood the secondary. 2 wideouts to each side. Here's the high snap. Back to pass Green. Flushed out of the pocket at midfield. He throws to the goal line. Nobody is there. He just threw this into the band. Almost got a tuba player, I think.
Yeah, well, not really a bad play. He had DeAndre Green and Kennard P. Williams both downfield. Boy, they were both pretty well covered. And Tyven does the smart thing, throws it away, and he has another chance.
12 seconds remaining. Mario Jackson, the other quarterback in there as a wide receiver now. Mario Jackson has been put in there as a wide receiver. He comes out with DeAndre Green. Split to the right. Higginbottom and Hugh Williams to the left. Second down. 12 seconds remaining. Second quarter. Here's the snap. Back to pass. Green in the pocket. Throws. He was hit. Ball went out of bounds. He had DeAndre Green at the 30 on the near sideline, but they got to him in the pocket that time and altered the throw.
Boy, they did, and it's been a different guy every night, or every time it seems. DeJuan Adams that time, the guy giving Tyven Green the pressure. It's been a host of Vigor Wolves who've had their opportunities to hit number 12 in purple tonight.
7 seconds to go. A lot of plays in this last 28 seconds.
A lot of plays in this ball game, trust me.
I know you're on what, your third page?
I'm on my fourth page doing a little play-by-play stats here. These guys have rung up the offensive plays.
Third down and 10. Here's the long pass to the goal line. They're going for it all, and it's going to be intercepted by Vigor with the time running out. Intercepted, and that ends. That was Dominic McDaniel who comes up with it, 5'9" senior, to end the second quarter and the first half with the score, Vigor 13 and Blount 7.
We talked about big plays, Lee, and it certainly has been throughout this first half. Vigor able to come up with the first big play of the night. Boy, it was a big one too. Tyven Green trying to drive the Blount offense earlier in the game, but Torian Stabler for Vigor picked off a pass and rumbled some 85 yards for a touchdown. Stabler picked it off at about the 15-yard line and was gone. Great speed, the track star takes it the distance and puts the 6 points on the board. Extra point was good, and at the 6:05 mark of the first quarter, the Vigor Wolves were the first ones cheering tonight as they had the 7-0 lead. Blount Leopards would answer, though, and come right back as quarterback Tyven Green would find DeAndre Green. A nice catch by Green and a couple of broken tackles to get it in the end zone. That a 29-yard touchdown toss at the 10:14 mark of the second quarter. Extra point good, and we were all tied at 7. Vigor comes up with a late touchdown. Nice 30-yarder, Jarvis Sanders to Guilford Abrams. And that's our difference at the break. That final touchdown with just 28 seconds left in the half to make it 13-7.
Might point out, too, that Blount has had 2 touchdowns called back because of penalties. One, the pass to DeAndre Green. The other, a 78-yard run by Kennard Pugh Williams. So they easily could have the lead, but we have had a penalty-filled first half. Lots of penalties in this first half, which really have hurt the Blount Leopards.
You're right. The Leopards are the ones who have really struggled because that 78-yard touchdown run by Kennard Pugh Williams called back the other touchdown. Could have been a much different ball game, but so far it's been pretty typical Vigor Blount.
Exciting to say the least. Big plays and more to come. At the half, 13-7 Vigor. When we send it back to WNTM, you'll hear Southern Pickwick football, and then Mike Herndon from the Mobile Register will come along for an interview after a look at the SEC football. And on Sports City 6, of course, the band show, Vigor and Blount. This is high school football on a Friday night at Prichard. The community is divided. Bragging rights at stake. It's Vigor 13, Blount 7.
Would you like to find out more about
Back at Prichard Municipal Stadium, we told you the first half was filled with penalties. The second half has not even yet begun, and already a penalty. Delay a game on Vigor. They'll kick off from the 35. Blount trailing 13-7. The Leopards will start the second half on offense. Walker to kick. Second half here at Prichard Municipal Stadium is underway. Pride of Prichard game, and the catch made by Kennard Pugh Williams. Upfield 20. Sidesteps a tackler to his right. Lost the ball. Falls on it at about the 20-yard line. Taking a look, Mike, at the first half stats.
Well, we've got them for Vigor and Blount. You see the Wolves with 6 first downs. The Leopards with 9. Not much on the ground for either team. Only 20 rushing yards mustered by Vigor, 28 for Blount. Through the air, passing 56 yards out of the arm of Jarvis Sanders. He goes 3 for 5 for Vigor, 56 yards and a touchdown. On the other side for Tyven Green, just 8 of 21, but he's hit for 115 yards, a touchdown, including a couple of interceptions. You see the total yards and the penalty yards, and especially those turnovers, they've been a big factor tonight.
And those penalties have wiped out 2 Blount touchdowns in this game. Green will hand off. They'll run from scrimmage on the first play and drag down at the 24-yard line is Kennard Pugh Williams, a gain of 4 coming off the left side of his offensive line. At quarterback, Tyven Green stays in. Leonis Williams and Kennard Pugh Williams are the running backs. We've seen Errol Higginbottom and DeAndre Green as the wideouts, along with Anthony Anderson at times. The center is Jarius James. Guards are Rashad Stallworth, Kelly Waters, Aaron Taylor, Carlos Bonner are the starting tackles. 2nd and 6 for Blount. Out of the eye, 2 wideouts to the near side, 1 to the far side. They run the tailback Williams, 25, 30. He's to the 35, 40, may be gone. It's a foot race, 40, down the far sideline. He may go, 20, 10, touchdown Blount, no flags. And it looks like Kennard Pugh Williams does have a touchdown. Touchdown Blount. We're tied at 13 as he goes 76 yards. He had a 78-yard touchdown run called back in the first half.
Couldn't get the 78, so we'll make it 76. And just a beautiful job by Kennard P. Williams. Simple off-tackle slant. He cuts it outside, finds the corner and the sideline, and turns on the Jets to go the distance.
Kennard Pugh Williams with his 6th touchdown of the year. Antoine Lott will try for the extra point to give him the lead. Chestang will hold. Lightning strikes early in the second half. Here's the kick. And it's true right through the uprights. Blount 14, Vigor 13. And plenty of time left here in the second half. Kennard Pugh Williams, who just earlier had fumbled the second half kickoff, racing down the far sidelines. He just turned on the Jets. He also is a member of that Blount track team. Comes up with a touchdown. 76 yards. As the stat showed you, we hadn't had much rushing yardage in the first half, and Blount had totally shut down the Vigor running game.
Yeah, Kennard Pugh Williams had only 3 carries for 3 total yards in that first half, Lee. We mentioned the big 78-yarder for a touchdown that was called back due to a penalty. But 76 yards out. Williams uses his speed to put the Blount Leopards back on top.
A lot to kick off. And the lead now enjoyed by Blount. And that'll be a touchback. Stabler was ready to fire out of there, and the official said nothing doing. So the Vigor Wolves on offense, and we've seen Jarvis Sanders in there, the senior. He has more experience than Jason Howard, who had been starting some games. Darian Dees has been silenced in the first half. Their big gun Archie Niles had a few yards running at full. Larry Howell alternates with Crum and Medise. Reese the tight end. Cedric Smith for the most part the wing back. First down. Tailback runs. Dees straight ahead for a yard. He just cannot get any holes to play with. And Darian Dees stopped after just 1 yard.
And boy, how important is it for this Vigor offense to show us something early in the stages of this third quarter, Lee. They really have been bottled up in the first half. A couple of great individual efforts that have gotten them on the scoreboard, but they really haven't come up with any consistency at all offensively tonight.
Gabriel Crum runs the play in from the Vigor sideline. The green and silver on offense. 10:18 to go. Third quarter. 2 wideouts to the left from the eye. Vigor trailing by a point. Toss sweep, D's 20, D's 25, flag down, D's to the 27. This one may come back.
Looks like we may have a hold or a clip on one of the receivers to the outside part of that play, Lee. Trying to protect and seal the corner.
That was Rodarian D's best gainer of the night. 7 yards.
Give me.
Waiting for George Van Court to give us the official signal.
We have a clip. White, half the distance to the goal. Replay to down.
Thank you, sir. Boy, sound like he's in the Army. Back to the 10. Drill sergeant. 10 yards lost. Back to the 10. 2nd and 20. 14-13 Blount. I have a feeling we haven't seen the last of the fireworks in this one. Medis out to the right. Wing T to the right. And a big gainer by Archie Niles, who crashes off the left side. Niles coming off left guard up near the 18-yard line, picked up 8 yards. Now he's had running room tonight. 3rd down and 12. Make it 3rd and 7. Make it 3rd and 13, I should say. 3rd and 13. At the 17-yard line. Daniel Madison is the center. Wilson, a very good offensive lineman. Looking at several schools. Mississippi State is one of them, Mike. Back to pass. Fade. Out to the near sideline. Almost intercepted. And it's almost caught and then intercepted. The receiver was Howell. And right there was Antoine Hill. And Hill juggled it and almost came up with it at the 38-yard line. Again, Sanders likes that fade route. That time he almost faded it right to Hill.
Yeah, they played hot potato with it down there. Both guys had a chance to come up with it. Tipped it around a little bit, but it finally hit the turf.
Walker to punt. Bernard Pugh Williams and Antoine Hill to receive. Walker at his 5, timeout. Official timeout this time. Brought to you in part by Quality Valve, Dairy Fresh, UJ Chevrolet. EJ. Orderkin is friends just right down the road here at I-65. Here comes the punt. Plenty of time. Not a bad kick. But a run back. Hill 50, 45, 40. Hill spins his way to the 35. He didn't get much hang time that time. And whereas he got a little bit of distance, not much hang time, and Hill made him pay with a 15-yard return.
Boy, nice heads-up play by Hill, too, to field that ball in some traffic. But, boy, by doing so, he was able to garner some big yardage up the middle. Really helped Blount with their field position inside the 35-yard line.
Leopards leading 14-13. Their football. They've abandoned the shotgun momentarily. Now they go with the 2 backs. 2 wide out, split right, 1 to the left. Talk about confusion. Green started to toss it, then hand it off. Stumbled, fell into his running back, Bernard Pugh Williams. They both go down at the 45-yard loss. That play was not designed to go that way.
Well, it won't go in the record books, but I think Tyven Green gets credit for the tackle on that when he tackled himself and Bernard Pugh Williams at the same time.
Put a green shirt on him. 8:09 to go, 3rd quarter. Blount leading 14-13. 5 on Green. Takes the snap, hands off. Williams, here he comes. 40, 35, spun around past the 30, down to about the 27-yard line. So Blount has abandoned its passing that we saw so much of in the first half, and now is running Bernard Pugh Williams, who just picked up 12 yards on the carry. It'll be 3rd and 3.
Boy, nice job by Andre Merriweather to tackle Bernard Pugh Williams and almost stripped the ball, trying to get in there to pull it out of his hands. Couldn't get it, but he came close.
One of the few returning veterans on the Vigor defense, Merriweather. Timeout taken by Blount. 14-13, Blount in the lead on WNTM and Sports City 6. There is movement on the line. There is a flag as the 3rd and 3 play was about to unfold. And instead of 3rd and 3, Blount is walking backwards, which means it'll be 3rd and 8, 5-yard penalty.
Dead ball. Illegal procedure. White.
Well, they're mounting up, Lee, in the first half. The Blount Leopards guilty of 6 penalties for 55 yards now, so it's 60 yards on the evening marked off against the Leopards.
That's all, just 6?
Yeah, I know it seems like a lot more.
3rd and 8. They've lost a lot of yardage, though. They've had 2 touchdowns called back. 9:16 to go, 3rd quarter. On 3rd and 8. Green drops back, looks left, throws left, and unable to come up with that pass is Higginbottom. It was short hop at the 22-yard line. 4th and 8 for the Blount Leopards. Probably go for it. Vigor on trailing 14-13. And it's 4th down and 8. And Blount will load up the shotgun. 4 wideouts, 2 to each side, including quarterback Mario Jackson in there as a wide receiver. Back to pass, Green to the goal line. Nobody there, incomplete. Throw it into no man's land that time.
Boy, he did, but credit a Vigor Wolf, number 82, DeJuan Will Adams, who was all over Tyven Green. Heavy pressure on the young quarterback, and he just let go of it. It got away from him and falls incomplete.
Brings the Vigor offense back onto the field. 6:58 left. There's a football that Blount coach Cornelius Brown has in his possession, which will be given away during the Senior Bowl week. A number of great signatures on that ball. Bear Bryant, Joe Namath, to name a few. Some of the greats from the Alabama past. Here's a running play that nets about 3 yards where Darian Dees around the left side for a couple. Again, the Blount defense has really shut down Dees. 2nd and 7, or actually more like 2nd and 8 for Vigor at the 35, their own 35.
Guys up front really done the job for the Blount Leopards tonight. Stuffed the middle and made it tough for Vigor to get anything between the tackles.
Wing T, left, split backfield. Play action, back to pass Sanders. Throws over the middle, almost intercepted by Eric Johnson. He had that one and couldn't come up with it. And he was the only one who had a chance at that pass.
And Jarvis Sanders with an actual trio of receivers all the right side of the field and right in front of him. Not really sure which one of the 3 he intended that ball for, but he threw it kind of in between them, and Eric Johnson, the Blount defender, had the best chance at it.
Jarvis Sanders last year as a backup quarterback didn't see much playing time with Damian Jones running the show, but he got in there as a wide receiver. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he was the wideout that just barely missed a desperation pass late in the game against Pelham that could have maybe tied the score. Here's a completion to George Reese, or Ben Reese, the tight end. He's got a 1st down up to the 49-yard line. Pelham had taken a lead on Vigor last year in the playoffs, 1st round. And then Damian brought Vigor back and just misfired with Sanders into the end zone. It misfired late in the game, which possibly could have tied that game up. Here's a 1st down for Vigor on the completion to Reese.
And it's our first 1st down for either team here in the second half. A nice job by Jarvis Sanders. Threw it right to his receiver, hit him in the numbers. He turned it upfield, has the 1st down just shy of midfield.
1st down at their own 49, out of the eye. Back to pass Sanders. Throws to the left. Caught by Cedric Smith. He's to the 36-yard line of the Leopards, a 1st down. That is a 16-yard gain, and the Vigor Wolves are on the march.
Back-to-back completions by Jarvis Sanders, 1 for 14, 1 for 16. Back-to-back 1st downs, and the Vigor quarterback has the Wolves moving.
Packed house at Prichard. Blount will play here next Friday in the playoffs. Vigor expected to go to Ladd Peoples Stadium for a Friday night matchup. 1st down 10. From the 36. Toss sweep. Trying the outside, but tripped up is Archie Niles. He got maybe a yard. That is it. Tried the right side. That was Williams who made the tackle. Adrian Williams, 6-foot sophomore. 2nd and 10, no gain on the play.
Lee, if there was anybody else in Prichard Stadium, do you know where we'd put them?
The only place to really get a seat now is along I-65.
That's about it. Hang off one of the bridges up there.
2nd and 10. Here's the rush on Sanders. He's scrambling. He's sacked. He's going down at the 47-yard line. As the Leopards, 4 players got in there.
Sion Morris, the first one. Robert Wilson right behind him, Lee. Great penetration. Morris on the blitz. And, boy, Robert Wilson, just great pressure from his defensive end position.
Pick your poison. Jarvis Sanders, I'm sure purple is not one of his favorite colors right now. 3rd and about 20. At the Blount 46. A huge loss on the play. Sanders loads up the shotgun. He wasn't ready for the snap. Luckily, he saw it coming. There's a flag. He airs it out down the near sideline. Looking for Reese. Incomplete.
Wow, right through his hands, Lee.
Flag upfield. I don't think it would have counted anyway, but it was a nicely thrown pass, but I think we may get a legal procedure against Vigor.
Something that's going to bring this one back for the Wolves.
Five-yard penalty against Vigor. Illegal procedure. Now it can be declined.
We have an illegal procedure. Green is going to be declined. We're going to play 4th down.
DeMarco McNeil declined the penalty. Nicely thrown pass right into the numbers of Ben Reese, who couldn't hang on to it, but as Mike pointed out, he was coming back anyway. 4th down and 20. Walker to punt from his own 43. Hill and Williams drop back. Flag again. High and short. Fair catch. Hill to his knees at the 12, and the flag upfield. .246 to go. 3rd quarter in a penalty-filled game.
You only had 6 men on the line.
You wouldn't think this late in the season you'd be getting these kind of penalties.
Well, that's the 2nd time that one's been called tonight, both times with Vigor in punt formation. So there's something just about that formation that they're lining up. Somebody's not far enough up on the line of scrimmage, maybe trying to cheat back a little bit to make that blocking curve, but they got to get 6 men up there on the line of scrimmage or they'll blow a whistle on them again.
This drive had reached the Blount 36. It's now back at the Vigor side of the 50, and it's 4th down and 25. Waiting for a substitution as Campbell departs for Blount. Fresh legs in the game. In the person of, well, I saw the player come in, but I don't have his number. Here's a fake. Walker, midfield. Walker, 45. Walker, 40. Down he goes. They will not get the first down. Cletus Walker is stopped. He made substantial yardage, but not nearly enough for the first.
4th and 25. That's no fake. Just great pressure by the Blount defense. And the Vigor punter decided to pull it up under and try to run it rather than take the chance of it being blocked. I noticed, too, Lee, have you seen a team this year with the type of punt formation that Vigor uses? They use 3. You usually talk about an up man. They've got 3 up men, I guess, trying to protect the corners, but Blount still able to get good penetration in there, pressure on the punter, and he has to haul it in and try to pick up some yardage. Moves it to the 40, but that's where the Leopards will take over.
And they lead 14-13 with 2:28 remaining, 3rd quarter. Ivan Green is the quarterback. Leonis Williams, the fullback, ahead of the tailback, Kennard Pugh Williams. Timeout taken by Blount. 2:28 remaining, 3rd quarter. Blount on top, 14-13 on WNTM and Sports City 6.
Who is...
And on 1st down, a fumble by Kennard Pugh Williams, recovered by Vigor. Vigor has come up with a turnover. Darius Blackman with the recovery. That fumble actually carried a long way. The handoff was not executed. He lost the handoff. It must have rolled about 5 to 6 yards laterally, and then it was a fight between Blackman and Williams, and Blackman won it, and Vigor down by a point. now at the Leopards' 38-yard line. So this worked out well for him.
Another big play, Lee. This time the turnover goes in favor of the Wolves, and they got a great scoring chance here. 1st and 10 at the Blount 38.
Double wing formation. Fullback Niles in motion. Smith back to pass. Sanders throws over the middle. Open. Dees caught it. 13 breaks the tackle. 10, 5, 4, 3. Tackled at the 3. First down, Vigor. Redarian Dees turns receiver and makes the catch.
Well, just slips out of the backfield, gets down in the middle of the field where he's left all alone, and credit Jarvis Sanders for getting in the ball. Dees hauls it in and breaks a tackle or two to advance it down inside the 5-yard line. A 1st and goal now for the Wolves.
I don't know what he's done completing passes, but Sanders has thrown a nice pass tonight. Power I formation. Walker in there along with Niles ahead of Dees. 1st and goal. Dees runs right, runs into defense, which stopped him. Didn't matter. A flag was thrown before the play unfolded. And wouldn't you know, there'd be a flag.
Of course.
So instead of 1st and goal from the 3, it's coming back a little bit. It's on Vigor.
Lee asked about Jarvis Sanders. Numbers 5 of, or make it 6 of 11. 122 yards to the air. Not a bad night for the quarterback.
Ball comes back to the 7. 1st and goal from the 7. Niles at fullback. Power I formation. Back to pass. Sanders on 1st to the goal line for Reese. He goes up and no good. He didn't come up with it. He was on the back end of the end zone, the end line, and he was well covered. Reese went up in a crowd and tried to come up with that pass by Jarvis Sanders. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 7.
Boy, he was well covered, Lee. A couple of Blount defenders back there, but credit Reese. Boy, went up and made a great effort for it. Sanders, pretty good ball he threw as well.
We got a timeout. We'll keep it right here. Game brought to you by Hills Children's Shoes, South Trust Bank, Spectronics Incorporated, University of South Alabama, and Providence Hospital. 14-13, Blount scoring a touchdown early in the 2nd half to take the lead. Vigor trying to regain the lead. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 7. Vigor coached by James Pirine, his 4th year. Last year 9-1. They were undefeated going into the playoffs and lost to Pelham. In fact, they were number 1 in the state when they went into those playoffs.
Exactly right.
Blount trying to hold on to their number 1 ranking going into the playoffs. They had 3 losses going into the playoffs, and they were the only team from here to win a championship. Sanders back, fade to the left. Touchdown! No, out of bounds. He caught it, but out of bounds. Going up was Larry Howell. Caught the fade route over on the left side of the end zone, but the official there said he didn't keep his feet in bounds.
Boy, beautiful effort by Howell to try to pull it down. Made the catch, but just couldn't keep those feet down.
Medice runs the play in. 3rd and goal from the 7. Used to be that Vigor could just run behind a big offensive line. Today we're seeing a lot more passing. They flood the secondary. Jarvis back to pass, looks to the right, chased out of the pocket, runs to his left, in trouble, throws to the goal line, knocked down. Why was that not intercepted? They threw it to Dees. Who was that? I didn't see who the Blount player was. It may have been Leonis Williams.
Exactly who it was.
He may have thought it was 4th down. I don't know. He had that pass, and instead of catching it, he batted it down.
Well, that's one of those plays you wonder about the next play, depending on what the Wolves are able to do here. Looks like they'll try to convert the field goal and retake the lead. And you're right, Williams had that an easy interception and just adamantly chose to bat it down instead.
Bart Hughes will try the field goal. Medice to hold. 23-yard effort. Teed up at the 13 for the lead. Ball down, kick up, blocked. Comes out to the 25. Picked up by Blount. They're going the other way. It may be a touchdown if it stands. Is that Campbell? He's going all the way on the block. And it will be a touchdown for Blount. Touchdown for the Leopards. Campbell?
It is Edward Campbell, Lee.
Well, in retrospect, that was not a bad move by the Blount player to bat that ball
There you
down.
go. What do us broadcasters know anyways, huh?
Nothing. How many yards will this go as a blocked field goal attempt backfires on Vigor? 20-13. Blount now with the lead.
My goodness. Big plays, lightning strikes, and it's done it again here in the form of the Blount Leopards. Blocked field goal. Not sure who got the block, Lee, but it was definitely Edward Campbell who scooped up the loose ball and showed some pretty good speed heading down that sideline.
Kicked by Lott. Flag down. Kick is good. With 42 seconds to go in the third quarter, well, we may have a redo. Edward Campbell racing, well, at least 25, I'd say 75 yards with it. I'm not sure exactly where he picked it up. That ball was blocked with such force that it went about 10 or 15 yards upfield. And Blount had 2 or 3 players that could have easily picked it up. Cornelius Brown, Blount coach, is on the field for the explanation. Here it is.
We have unsportsmanlike. Vigor is going to be penalized on the kickoff.
Kick will stand, and Blount leading 21-13. And they will get to kick it off at the other side of the 50 at the Vigor 45. So the long quarter.
Well, Lee, we saw earlier in the evening what looked like a productive Blount drive end in a Vigor touchdown. Interception return by the talented Torian Stabler. And what looked like a productive Vigor drive now turns into a Blount touchdown with a blocked field goal and the run back by Edward Campbell.
How many yards are you giving Campbell on the run back?
Yeah, we'll have to ask Steve down in our Sports City 6.
I'm not sure exactly where he picked it up, but I'll tell you.
See if he can re-roll the tape for us maybe, and we can pick it up here momentarily.
This will be a relatively short kick for Lott at the Vigor 45, kicking off. This would be a good place for an onside kick. But instead he just kicks it into the end zone. And see, that'd be a great place. Why waste a kick?
Yeah.
Why waste a kick? Try for the onside kick there. You already have Vigor back on their heels. Big play in this game. That play, if Blount wins, could be the real key play of this game.
Well, my guess is it's going to be about a 70-yard, maybe 75-yard, Lee, as you said. Ball was batted well back behind the placement, the spot placement for the field goal, when Campbell picked it up and started rumbling.
First down, Vigor at its own 20 from the eye. Quarterback Sanders, tailback Dees, nice hold, 25, 30. Up near the 33-yard line, his best run of the night. 13 yards and a first down for Vigor. We're under a half a minute to play in the third quarter.
What would you think if I told you that Blount's added to their lead here in the second half without the aid of a first down?
I believe it.
Well, technically, they actually get one on the 76-yard touchdown run by Kennard Pugh Williams. I think they get credit for a first down on that.
No, they don't.
You don't think so?
Nope.
Okay.
Reed Dees again, dumped before he hit the 30. That was DeMarco McNeil. He took care of him. He said, you want your 13-yard gain? How's this? That was a 2-yard loss. DeMarco McNeil off the ball in a hurry. And the guy that everybody's raving about, and you see why, comes up with the tackle. End of the third quarter with the score. Blount 21, Vigor 13. We'll be back for quarter number 4 on WNTM, AM 710 and Sports City 6. On first down, Sanders throwing, caught by Cedric Smith. First down, twisting and turning at the 43-yard line. That was actually second down, and Sanders firing it to the far side of the field. And Cedric Smith comes up with it, and Vigor will move the sticks and the first down at their own 43. Despite Blount's 2 touchdowns in the third quarter, Vigor very much in this game. They could tie it with a touchdown and a 2-pointer.
Boy, Sanders has really been up to the task tonight. Lee, nothing spectacular, but he's really kept this Vigor team in the game.
George Van Court, the official, steps in, stops the clock, which had just started in the fourth quarter. Blount leading 21-13. They had won 2 of the past 3 meetings between the arch rivals, separated by what, about less than a mile? First down 10 at the 43, their own 43. Jarvis Sanders running to the left. Quarterback sprint out, throws, caught by Cedric Smith. Nice move at midfield down to the 45-yard line. First down. He was at the 49 and gained the 3 yards needed for the first down. Tomorrow morning, join Mike Race and myself in the WNSP studio for the SEC tailgating show. 2 hours of SEC football and nothing but.
Boy, back-to-back first downs by the Vigor Wolves, and they have yet to give up. That's first down number 10, 11, and 12 for Vigor on the evening.
From the Blount 45, double wing formation. Handoff goes to Dees, cut back, and dumped at the line of scrimmage. He cut back as he was running laterally at the 50. Got it back to the line of scrimmage, the 46, second down and 10, no gain.
Cut right back into Richard Sloan is what he did, boy, and he took him down hard.
Second down, 10 for Vigor. 7-2 season. Blount 7-0. Last game of the regular season. The playoffs begin next week. And Blount and Vigor both stay home. From the eye, 2 wideouts split to the far side, the right side. Play action, Jarvis to pass, has time, airs it out, deep right sideline, and it is going to be intercepted. Intercepted by Blount. Great catch, both the receiver and Hill. It was Cedric Smith and Hill in a fight for that ball, and Hill won it. Hill last year had something like 12 to 13 interceptions, not quite as many as this year, but he made a great play that time.
And Jarvis Sanders just put everything he had into that ball, Lee, but didn't quite have enough in him to lead his receiver, and that's what he really needed to do when Cedric Smith had to come back to play it. It was Antoine Hill who was there to out-leap him and come down with it.
First down 10 for Blount at its own 11-yard line. Green working the eye. They ran nothing but shotgun in the first half and taking snaps from center in the second half. On first down, the tailback, Kennard Pugh out to the right. 15 to the 16 to the 17 up near the 19-yard line. Pretty good first down run of nearly 7 yards for Kennard Pugh Williams. They say he went down at the 18-yard line. It'll be second down and 3 yards. The Leopards leading 21-13. Green has been in there all the way at quarterback from his own 18. Williams running left. That is not Williams, that is Delaney. Slashes his way up to the 25-yard line. Terrence Delaney getting the ball for the first time. And he fires it out to the 25-yard line and a first down. I may stand corrected on that. That may be Fernanda Blakely. Do I think it is Fernanda Blakely instead of Delaney? First and 10, Blount. They are deep in running backs, deep in receivers, just deep all over. On first down, Blount. Fumble on the play, loose ball, and we'll wait. But Vigor, of course, they're indicating they have it, but I want to see what the official says. Yes, they do. A Blount fumble. Boy, I tell you, there have been a lot of turnovers in the second half. And Vigor's offense is right back to work.
Second fumble the Blount Leopards have lost in the second half, and their 5th turnover of the game, Lee.
That's a lot. That's a lot for Blount. And Vigor able to stay in this game, trailing by just 8. Now at the Blount 26. Niles, D, split backfield, wing T to the right. White out to the left. Sanders back to pass, throws left, the fade, and it's incomplete. For a moment there, it looked like Larry Howell had it, and he could not hang on to it. Blount defensive backfield, very tough. They stay with you. It'll be 2nd down and 10 at the Leopard 26-yard line. You see where Vigor has just about abandoned the run.
Well, they've gotten a pretty good effort tonight out of quarterback Jarvis Sanders. After the incompletion now, Sanders 8 of 17, 144 yards on the night.
2nd down, 10 for Vigor. Here's Jarvis, back to pass, stops, throws. Dees can't get it. Dees had his hands on it, was hit by Eric Johnson, and dropped the ball at the 5-yard line. Again, another well-thrown pass by Jarvis Sanders.
Yep, and his receiver did the best he could to kind of make a twist and turn in midair and get there. Ball thrown a little bit behind him. It really had to be with Eric Johnson closing on the play from where he was at. So Sanders put it in the right spot. Dees just couldn't make the turn and get it in.
3rd and 10 for Vigor at the Blount 26-yard line. Wing T right. White out, Howell to the left. Sanders fakes, throws. Caught, Howell, 10, 5, to the 3, tackled at the 3, 1st down. He split the defense, going a crossing route over the middle. Nicely done, nicely executed. Sanders to Larry Howell.
And boy, just a beautiful pump fake by Sanders too, to kind of get that safety to bite. And then Howell comes in on the slant, is wide open, and is able to catch it and get big yardage. A 1st and goal for the Wolves inside the 5.
Timeout, Vigor. We'll keep it right here with about 7:59 left in the 4th quarter, so we don't miss this next play. We'll keep it right here. But again, the key play in this game, that blocked field goal. If Vigor is able to make the field goal, or at least get it off and make it, they take the lead. It was blocked, and Blount picked it up, Campbell, and went the distance with it. And that's the big play of the ball game.
Has been.
Ball's actually on the 4-yard line. 1st and goal at the 4.
Maybe the biggest play in a game of big plays.
Vigor has had some problems scoring in the red zone this year, and in the shutout loss to Opalatka, talking to the coaching staff before the game, they had several opportunities to score inside the 10. Did not. Dees, Walker, and also in there at a running back, Andre Merriweather, the linebacker, as a blocking back. Dees off the left side, sneaks his way to the 2-yard line. A 2-yard pickup, 2nd and goal from the 2.
Well, you know that Blount Leopard defense is going to make it tough going inside here. DeMarco McNeil, Richard Sloan, Robert Wilson, those guys on the inside. Tough to budge down in a goal-to-goal situation. Watch and see if the Wolves elect to keep it on the ground or try a little play action and put Jarvis Sanders out on the corner with a run-pass option here.
Years gone by, Vigor's always had that big lineman to run behind. Dees started inside, goes left, and gets tackled at about the 2. Undecided that time, he hesitated. But in years gone by, they've always had that big guy who could put the pancake block on you. The Willie Andersons, the Mariko Portises, people like that. It's inside the 2, 3rd and goal.
Big guy that did it there was Edward Campbell, defensive end for Blount, who made the hit on Dees.
Sanders takes, goes to Dees, to the goal line. He didn't get in.
3 tries, he's not there yet, Lee.
He is stopped shy of the 1. I don't think he made it to the 1-yard line. As the Leopards unpile, Campbell's there. They're all in there. Trying to see who's at the bottom of the pile. Those are the guys who get the stuffings beat out of them right underneath.
Well, they've run at that left side of Edward Campbell and Michael Sloan all 3 times, Lee, with Dees over on that left side, but have yet to budge it into the end zone.
Mike, they want to talk it over. They take another timeout. 6:32 to go. In the fourth quarter, Vigor takes a timeout to discuss what could be a most important play in this game. 4th and goal from just outside the 1-yard line.
So you've tried it 3 times. Do you hammer that left side one more time, or maybe use that play action? Roll Jarvis Sanders out to the wide side of the field.
I know this. Blount is so quick on defense, you don't really try to stretch the field. Sprint out by a quarterback or end around it, I don't think it's going to cut it. I almost think if you're going to run it, you've got to go inside on him. However, you've got the tight end. Ben Reese, pretty good receiver. That's a possibility. A fake into the line and toss to the tight end.
Good thinking. We'll see if the Vigor coaches agree with that. They certainly seem to have on the first 3 plays of this, what was a 1st and goal situation. Here we go, Lee.
4th and goal from the 2. Sanders, play action, runs, throws, incomplete. He had his receiver. That was a touchdown. It could not be caught, and that was Reese, the tight end.
Jarvis Sanders roll out to the right. The Vigor coaches came up with a compromise, Lee. They put Sanders on the roll, stretched the defense to the right side, but then came back to the middle of the tight end. He was open, and it just bounces out of his fingertips.
Ben Reese was there, couldn't hang on to it. The rollout pass, almost 6 points, but I said almost. Blount's ball, one shining light for Vigors. They got Blount back on the 1-yard line.
Not an almost on the scoreboard. They don't put those up there, unfortunately.
First down for Blount at its own 1-yard line. Williams, the tailback, and the fullback both in the end zone. Vigor defense bunched in there trying to stop Blount, maybe get a safety out of this. Williams runs left, or that's Blakely. That's Fernanda Blakely. Put a flag on the play. Delay a game. Half the distance, so half of what? One is half a yard.
One is half, yeah.
.6:22 to go in the game. Plenty of time. Ball is now placed inside the 1 at the 1.5 yard line. Blakely that time tried to go outside. Here's a player walking off the field for Vigor, and he doesn't look to be in too good a shape. That's Kennard Gordon, a defensive tackle, limping off. Not good news for Vigor. Blount leading 21-13. Green ducks in under center. He takes it. Back to pass. Gonna throw long and deep to the 35, 40-yard line. Incomplete. He was going for the bomb that time. He was going for the home run. Kennard Pugh Williams with a step on the defensive back, but he couldn't reach it.
Yeah, you talk about going for the home run. That was it. Sent Kennard Pugh Williams on that fly pattern down the left side, and boy, Tyman Green just about put it in there.
That would have broken the backs of Vigor, I can tell you that. Not a bad play to call on first down. Even if it didn't work, it gives Vigor something to think about.
Absolutely. Keep those safeties and cornerbacks from coming in and playing the run so tough.
Now Blakely is the tailback. Second down, 10 from the 1. They got 99 yards to go. Here's the fullback up the middle, fighting his way, flags down. Up near the 8-yard line is Leonis Williams with lots of flags.
I'll say this too, Lee, tonight. When we've had flags, we haven't just had one. Everybody that's got one in their pocket's been throwing it, man.
6:12 to go in the fourth quarter. A holding call against Blount, I believe, is the preliminary indication, which means half the distance. Blount with 2 third-quarter touchdowns has taken the lead. They were trailing 13-7 at the half.
But illegal procedure. White, 6 men on the line of scrimmage.
No, the proverbial 6 men on the line of scrimmage call.
I haven't heard that call all year, Lee. We've had it about half a dozen times tonight.
At least. So now it's back to the goal line. And those are the footballs actually touching the goal line, half the distance from the half line to the quarter. Now we're getting into millimeters. 2nd and 11. Blount 99.5 yards away from a touchdown. And here is a handoff, and fighting his way to the half-yard line. Wow. Leonis Williams, they almost had him pinned in for a safety, and Williams just would not go down. And what a job he did in just getting it past the goal line.
Well, you're right, Lee. What an effort just to get it out of the end zone. Great penetration by the Vigor defense to stuff him early. But he keeps digging, keeps fighting, and gets it out just over the goal line. Think how big 2 points could be right here for Vigor to pull it to a 6-point game rather than 8.
Merriweather was trying to pin him in the end zone, and Williams would not go down. 3rd and 11. They had a quick kick it out of there. 3rd and 11. Split backfield. Nobody likes the quick kick anymore. Back to pass, Green. Trouble, throws over the middle. He's got Green. DeAndre spun around, flips his way up near the 18. He's got a first down. When in doubt, go to Green.
Well, why not? There, if you're not going to quick kick it, you know, hit on DeAndre Green. And the Blount Leopard comes through with another huge play. Great catch by Green. First down, and he gets him out from in front of their own goal line.
And they keep the drive alive. They get out of the shadow of their own end zone. Carl Poe, the offensive coordinator, his cousin is DeAndre Green. And DeAndre with a clutch catch, as they say in the business. Up to the 18. 4:38 to go in the game. Ivan Green up the middle. Here comes Blakely. Nice hard-hitting run. Not many yards, but he knocked a few heads loose, and he comes up to the 20.
Keeps that clock rolling, and right now that's job number 1 for the Blount Leopards.
Well, just over the 20 at the 21-yard line. 2nd down, 7. 3-yard pickup for Fernanda Blakely. Boy, that DeAndre Green has come up with some outstanding clutch catches this year to keep that record perfect.
Well, and he's done it at least 3 or 4 times tonight here, Lee. Had the first touchdown of the night for Blount.
On 2nd down, Green to pass. Ivan Green in the pocket. Plenty of time. No rush at all. Now he throws long and deep to nobody. Throws it out of bounds at the 40-yard line. There was nobody within 30 yards of that pass.
You know, we've seen Tyman do that a couple times tonight. Generally, when a quarterback will throw one away, he'll, you know, throw it 5 yards downfield and towards the sideline. Not Tyman, baby. He's going to air it out. Throw it 40, 50, 60 yards. How far can I throw it here?
He threw that ball down to the Vigor 40. There was nobody within 30 yards of that pass, except somebody out of bounds, one of the coaches. 3rd down, 7 for Blount at its own 21. And here you got to look for DeAndre Green. Back to pass, Ivan Green. Flags. Stops the play. Don't tell me we had 6 men on the line.
What you got? You got White?
That was George Van Court talking.
We have dead ball. Illegal procedure on the White. 5-yard penalty.
Back to the 16. You know, we joke about these penalties, but it's no joke to the coaches and getting ready for the playoffs. This is not what you want from your team in the final game of the regular season.
You're right, Lee. And we've seen both teams tonight pile up the penalties and the penalty yards. And not the kind of play, as you say, you want to see from your troops this deep into the season.
Not at all. Timeout, Blount. We'll take a timeout. 3:42 to go in the game. Blount leading 21-13 on WNTM 710 AM and Sports City 6. And we just had the 3rd down run as Fernanda Blakely was smothered after a short gain, forcing Blount to punt. 3:21 remaining. Still hope for Vigor. Mario, or I should say for Vigor, dropping back is Guilford Abrams. Gain of about 2 yards for Blakely. Listeners tonight can watch this Sports City telecast tomorrow at about 7:30, right after McGill Satsuma. DeAndre Green's punt. High. What a spiral. He aired that one out, backpedaling at the 25, taken by Abrams. 30, 35, 40, and DeMarco McNeil was there. There's a fumble, and it's recovered, I believe, by Vigor. Boy, McNeil playing like a like an All-American as he made the play and caused a fumble. I mean, like, you know, he's playing like the player of the year, which he probably will be.
Tremendous hit. And how about DeAndre Green? What a boot off his foot. He's pumped up as he drives Abrams way back, and Abrams with some room. DeAndre maybe out-kicked his coverage a little bit, but boy, once DeAndre got down there, got a hand on Abrams and wouldn't let go.
Players making big-time plays. DeAndre Green with the punt, DeMarco McNeil with the tackle, but an injured Blount player stops the clock. 2:42 remaining in this game. And the players you hear most about at Blount are DeAndre Green and DeMarco McNeil. We've been talking about them since their sophomore seasons for very good reason. Two most sought-after players in this area, along with Kenny King of Daphne. And there are others, believe me. There's a lot of them this year.
Heard lots of different things about DeAndre Green and DeMarco McNeil, both verbally committed to Auburn. Some say that those commitments may not be very firm. I've heard other folks say, oh yeah, that's where they're going. They want to say they're still open to listen, but they're both going to Auburn. So hard to tell, especially with what's going on in the Plains the last couple of weeks.
Eric Johnson shaken up. He'll walk out under his own power. Wayne Merritt, defensive coordinator. Carl Poe, offensive coordinator. Other coaches for Blount: Derek McCall, Cleon Jones Jr., Tony Hairston, Jiminy Bailey, Brian Maupin, Bruce Simmons, Dexter Petway. Out of the shotgun, Sanders back to pass, flushed out, starts right, goes left, he's going down. What a huge loss of almost 20 yards back to the 20-yard line. That is something Vigor did not need on 1st and 10, with Sanders being sacked way back at the 20-yard line.
Robert Wilson and Edward Campbell both just, you know, as they say, laying their ears back and coming after you. Well, that's what they were doing, knowing that Sanders would be throwing. They were rushing the passer all the way and got to Jarvis, and well, he almost wrestled away from him, but not quite.
20-yard loss, 2nd and 30. Vigor at its own 20. Sanders drops back, tosses in the backfield, dropped by Darian Dees. It wouldn't have mattered anyway. There were a couple of Leopards over there in the right flat, ready to deck them anyway, including some of those outstanding defensive linebackers they have. It'll be 3rd and 30. One of the reasons we have problems this year with Blount picking up some of the names is simply because their roster that we get, it changes. They have several players who change numbers from purple to white. Sometimes we get a roster with just one version and not the other. Sanders back to pass. Sanders with time. Over the middle. Caught. And down is Cedric Smith at the 33-yard line. Still about 17 yards shy of a first. Fourth down for Vigor. And this may be it for them. Their last hope in this game, possibly. On 4th down, Sanders back. 4-man rush. Airs it out. Long, deep. Left sideline. And it's intercepted at the 20-yard line. Intercepted by DeAndre Green.
He's playing defensive back.
Told you, big players make big plays. DeAndre Green now with an interception. I didn't even know he played defensive back.
I had no idea. I'm wondering if he's in the place of Johnson, who came out a moment ago when he was kind of roughed up on the special teams play, and DeAndre Green playing DB and coming up with a pick.
He out-jumped Larry Howell. It was Howell and Green just took it away from him. Well, we know he can catch the football.
We might have seen it all.
Minute 35 remaining. Let's see if Blount can run out the clock. Leading 21-13. The only touchdowns in the second half belong to Vigor. This is WNTM Mobile. Catch up on all the high school scores tonight and add to your trivia folklore by tuning in Pigskin Pete. Penalty against Blount. Brings it back to the 16. Pigskin Pete on WNSP following Mystics hockey tonight. In fact, he may be on the air before we finish.
Has been a long one tonight at Prichard Stadium.
First down, 15 for the Leopards, trying to run out the clock and leading. And taking a knee is Green. I don't think Vigor can take any more timeouts. They've used them all up. With 1:30 remaining, clock running. Ivan Green just taking a knee, trying to keep the clock running, and Blount with the lead, 21-13. And telling you, that blocked field goal right now is the big play of this game. It turned the game around.
Chance for Vigor to take the lead, and instead, it turns out to be the clincher for the Leopards tonight.
Blount just eating up the clock. It's about a minute to go. And I don't know what the crowd's going to be tonight. It's certainly in the teens. We know that. Another knee taken by Green on second down and 15, maybe 12, maybe 13,000, and very tough to estimate. The stands here seat about 8, but there's so many people filling out the end zones and along the sidelines, so down to 36 seconds. Blount will go into the playoffs at 8-0. Vigor will go in at 7-3. And Blount will avenge last year's loss and will have the right to bragging rights for the coming season. Down to 20 seconds. Green just using up the clock. Take another knee, playing it safe. Goes to the knee, and that's the third down play, and that'll do it. Game's going to be over.
For Vigor fans, take heart. If I'm not mistaken, a team with 3 losses won a state championship last year.
For sure. 3 seconds, 2-1, it's all over. Blount, bragging rights. The pride of Prichard to the Leopards, 21-13. As each team will host a playoff game next season, and we'll recap the second half with Mike Grace. Coming up, as Blount beating Vigor 21-13, we'll return to Prichard Municipal Stadium for a recap and a few closing comments in 1 minute.